Sousa Show. Sports, Team.
Nobody tells our stories better than our clients.
The difference is stark. I was rear-ended at a stop. I thought I was fine, and then once I got home, I realized it's a lot worse than I thought. I ended up having a ruptured disc. You say you're not hurting, and then an hour later, you're saying you're in all this pain. I just felt like most people would think that I was lying. And that's when I decided to call Daniel Stark. I owe a lot to Daniel Stark. They really got me what I deserved.
The difference is stark.
We definitely love our relationship and love Extraco. It's been an amazing experience.
They made the PPP process easier. They were reaching out to me saying, what can I do to help you? That made a huge difference because my stress level when we shut down to afterwards was night and day.
Our experience with Extraco has been phenomenal since the very beginning, so we love Extraco.
Tervis is all about staying hydrated with style and durability. You can trust Tervis tumblers to keep your drinks the perfect temperature, hot or cold, for hours. From the classic insulated tumblers to sleek stainless steel water bottles, each product is built to last and comes in endless designs to match your personality. Stay refreshed and express yourself with Tervis. Visit tervis.com today and find your perfect tumbler.
Since our founding, we've been revolutionizing hair removal with cutting-edge technology and a commitment to empowerment. The U-Like Air 3, launched in 2023, ushers in a new era of sapphire ice cooling technology, offering nearly painless hair reduction in just 3 weeks. Experience the future of hair removal today at ulike.com, because at Ulike, beauty is about looking and feeling good. That's ulike.com. Ulike. With Ease US, make studio quality voiceovers for your videos online in over 149 languages and dialects, featuring 468 natural AI voices. Customize the volume, mood, and pauses to perfectly match your content. Plus, capture high quality videos with no watermark. Record your screen, webcam, and voice, and save them instantly to your computer. Never been easier to create professional grade videos and voiceovers. Try it today at easeus.com. That's EASEUS.com. Ease US.
Just use AMP-Pace.
AMP-Pace.
It is the Pete Sousa Show. We are back on a Monday, and we are stoked to be here. Presented by Slovacics. It is time for the NFL Draft. And if you want to get a collection of kolaches for the draft on Thursday night, Cowboys picking at 12. We're going to get into what they might do. Scotty has some theories, and we've got some good information. But stop over Slovacics, collect kolaches, have a draft party, and do it with Slovacic stuff. And if you just need to stop at Slovacics because you're going through the area, headed to Dallas from Austin or Waco, or vice versa, stop in, say what's up to Ray. It's tough to find him because he's always busting his ass working in there. But Slovacics is the spot. Also, Daniel Stark Injury Lawyers and Sikora Family Ford. Sikora Family Ford, you can do the double dip, baby. You can go over to Slovacics and then look for a car if you're in the market. And as always, we would like to thank our friends at Crawford Austin Properties. Had to spend a little time, or got to spend a little time with my man Gordon Harriman this weekend from Crawford Austin Properties. He's as crazy as ever, but he's doing some great business. Let's start off with the NFL draft. I've got my Raiders shirt on today. You know, it's just I'm feeling the NFL. Okay. By the way, I'm hearing rumors that Ashton Genty is not going to go to the Raiders, but we'll get into a little bit of that as we handicapped the top of the draft. Information from our boy McShay. He and Mensch are out there. They were on our show last week, but they're out in L.A. For the draft. And this time of year, somebody like Todd gets a ton of phone calls. And it's kind of a give and take between him and NFL organizations. I know for a fact Todd might not talk about it too much because he's humble and keeps it close to the vest. But like some of those teams actually lean on Todd for some grades and stuff and his feedback and what he sees. And he gets information from them in the meantime. And a piece of information he got, remember, he talked to us last week. Of course, we're talking about Shedeur Sanders. And Todd talked to us last week about the fact that what the Giants are doing, flying from Boulder to Tuscaloosa to wherever Jackson Dart is, right? They looked at all these quarterbacks last week because they really want to figure out if they will take a quarterback, who's it going to be. So it was kind of downplayed a little bit. Like, yeah, the Giants did go see Shedeur in Colorado, but hold the phone. They're just doing their due diligence. Now, as things start to narrow as far as the time window before the draft, Todd released some new information about Shedeur Sanders. One, he talked about connecting with folks within the Giants organization. And there is a push now on the Giants personnel side for Shedeur Sanders. Joe Shane, obviously their general manager, who I feel like is looking to atone with the splash this year after he publicly, right, the Giants were on Hard Knocks during the offseason, and he tells his owner, John Mara, that it's all good that they're going to get rid of Saquon Barkley. And we saw what Saquon did. I mean, come on, right? With my Eagles, as I wear my Raiders shirt. Don't judge me. But so that was just a really big deal. And talk around the NFL and around New York is that the Mara family is done. They're just overseeing the Jets on the back page of the Post all the time. And even though the Jets aren't hitting home runs, at least they're drumming up publicity in the number one television media market in the entire world, New York City, right? That New York metropolitan area. So Joe Shane and members of the personnel department are leaning towards Shedeur Sanders. Some people banging the table louder than others, right? On the football side, Brian Daboll, and on the football side, I mean coaching staff, apparently is not crazy about taking him, this is some of the friction we see, right? We just saw it with the Denver Nuggets, where both parties were fired. Calvin Booth and Mike, what's his last name? Mike Malone. They couldn't get along. They didn't see eye to eye. Calvin Booth drafts guys who are young. Mike Malone doesn't want to play them. They implode after winning a title just 2 years after. And the Giants are nowhere near that level of success, or they have not been. So they're even probably walking towards more dangerous territory, both the GM, right, Joe Shane, and the head coach, Brian Daboll. So it's really important that the Giants win now. And there is a world where they could take Shedeur Sanders and also start someone like Russell Wilson. We'll have to wait and see. But there is a real should I say, there's a real possibility that Shedeur goes at 3 to New York. Now, Scotty and I talked about this. News has also been released through the Sanders crew that he is not going to be in Green Bay for the draft. Why would you want to go to Green Bay? Well, it's a springtime. It's beautiful. It's a great place to visit. Amazing experience there. You go to Green Bay, you hit Lambeau Field. You hope it's not going to be freezing cold whenever you're going. It is a almost, I would try to, I want to use the right word, a majestic situation there. It really is. So that's where the draft's going to be. But Shedeur's not going to be there. Neither is Jackson Dart, which tells you something. And this brings us to our next point. Can you roll the video about, this is Todd McShay talking about Shedeur Sanders and the possibility that he will go to play for the Saints. Saints pick 9, and there's been a ton of heat around the Saints taking Shedeur at 9. Let's listen.
And it got confirmed today, and I didn't need confirmation because I knew. I kind of confirmed it for the other side. New Orleans is not taking Shedeur at 9. And in fact, New Orleans isn't taking Shedeur probably at 40. I'll say it again. New Orleans probably isn't taking Shedeur at 40 if he was there, okay?
Okay, so Giants are like probably, and honestly, like overall, it's probably less than 25% chance the Giants take him. And then you look at where he could go to New Orleans at 9. You just heard the word right there. They're not going to take him. So now you go all the way down to Pittsburgh at 21, and that is, nobody's really sure, right? So, but Mike Tomlin apparently really likes him. And, you know, if you're Mike Tomlin and you like somebody, I feel like he's the alpha in just about every room he's in. So I feel like he swings a pretty big stick, even on the personnel side. Then you kind of fall out of the first round as far as teams that are in the market for a quarterback. But Scotty Swingler, this is when I bring it to you. And you have talked about this, and you reminded me of it today, and I'm pissed. You know, we're going to have Matt Mosley join us tomorrow. Jerry is doing his pre-draft availability, so I want Mosley to talk to us about what he knows and what he's hearing, and with his history with Jerry Jones, what he thinks Jerry would do. But you feel like there's no way Shedeur gets past 12.
No way. Absolutely no shot. I might put money on it this weekend. I might.
Yeah, because odds are he won't go third. And we just heard New Orleans won't take him.
So I told you this like a week and a half ago, I think. I said whatever Shedeur's draft stock is, he's not dropping lower than 12 because Jerry Jones cannot resist the idea of having Deion's son play for the Cowboys. I promise. As much as there was all this Deion's going to come coach the Cowboys talk, right? Like, I promise you, Jerry Jones, if he has the final say, will make sure Shedeur Sanders is a Dallas Cowboy if he falls to 12. And I thought last week the biggest obstacle to that possibility was New Orleans. So the fact that McShay's hearing
he said he could confirm it, and he thought so before that even.
Well, and even in that clip we played, which was only 20 seconds long, he said it was such authority twice. Like, listen, they wouldn't even take him at 40. So he's off their board, right? I as a Cowboys fan, I don't know how I feel about that. Yeah. It is a weaker draft. It's a swing. I've been a noteworthy Dak Prescott hater for a long time. Yeah. So I don't hate the idea. It would give us something to talk about all summer. It would be the most entertaining storyline for the next 3 years in the NFL.
And let me tell you something. This is not this is not hyperbole. This is what we know from Jerry Jones over all this time. And
I'm not being a fan. I'm really trying to be objective.
How would Stephen A. Smith say it though?
Oh my gosh. Are we doing this right now?
Yeah, dude, how would Stephen A. Smith say that Jerry Jones won't let him get past?
Listen, I've known Jerry Jones for decades. The man is like a brother to me. He's a businessman. He's got the acumen of a shark. He's brilliant. And I'm going to tell you something. Those Dallas Cowboys can't stop getting in their own way. Jerry Jones can't resist Shedeur Sanders at 12.
There you go.
Something to that.
We've been sitting on that for a while. He does that all the time. Well, we're offline over here, and that was worth sharing. I put him on the spot there. Thanks, Scotty.
Yeah, that's usually an off-camera routine.
Yeah, but I believe that this is more of, I'll tell you what, I mean, as if we didn't already, but I know exactly what I'm doing Thursday night. I mean, I know exactly, because this is one of those drafts that can kind of go a million different ways.
We really have no clue. Yeah, there's been a lot of drafts, and guys, the first round's always a 50-50 proposition, frankly. Like 50% of the guys are going to hit and 50% of them are going to bust. It's always that way, but usually most years you're like, okay, there's a clear top 10 or a clear top 6, and like this year it's like, okay, Cam Ward's going number 1. Everyone kind of knows that. Travis Hunter and Abdul Carter are the next best 2 prospects that are probably not going to bust. Yeah. No idea after that. No idea. Like, we really have no clue.
Speaking of the draft, and we're going to get to Baylor next, talk about a huge prospect that they landed just this past week or this past weekend. But back to the draft real quick. Did you see the Justin Blackmon stuff?
No.
Such a bummer. He
No.
got arrested for being drunk in public.
Recently,
like over the weekend.
Oh, okay.
So, and it was in Oklahoma.
Is he back in Stillwater?
I don't know. But so he was probably one of the most exciting, one of the most talented college football wide receivers ever.
Yeah,
almost.
1,000%.
Played 2 years or 3 years for the Jaguars and just faded out. And it just shows how fleeting the draft can be. Like how much of a gamble
Nobody's
it
a
is.
sure thing.
Yeah, nobody. And you hope he's going to be fine. And I think honestly, like just my quick assessment of the mugshot, he got a public intoxication. The mugshot, like we all don't look great in mugshots, or at least people like us with experience. Remember, 13 years sober. So there's a lot of stuff I got into that I've toned for since. But I saw it and I was like, man, it's a heartbreaker. And again, like I really hope the guy figures out what's going on with him and makes the right steps to because he can certainly turn his life around. If I did. But I think it's a weird time of year to see that, knowing that the draft is coming up, knowing that he went 5th, knowing that he played, I think, again, just 2 or 3 seasons.
I think it was 2.
2 seasons with the Jaguars.
I think it was 2.
He was in and out of the league.
And he was, I mean, like the debate when he was graduating, because he followed Des Bryant, and the debate was like, is he better than Des Bryant?
Yeah.
Who was the best Oklahoma State receiver to that point, right?
Yeah,
And then Blackmon was that good.
Yeah.
He was that good.
Yeah, and I have a feeling, and this is not a personal thing, this is a football thing, I do not believe in Cam Ward at 1. Like, here's what I don't believe in. Just the sure, like he's a lock to go 1, and he is. He's going to go number 1.
I was going to say that they are taking him.
Yeah, and so I didn't watch him enough, and I'm not an expert. Like, I'm not like McShay.
I believe in him a lot more than like Jamarcus Russell, who went at 1, though.
Yeah, I know. When that was a whole purple drank situation. I mean, like, yeah, that was a rough one. That was the Raiders, who are the organization who I love at their worst, taking him number 1.
Yeah.
All right, let's get on to closer to home, Baylor over the weekend. Scotty sent me this on Friday night. I had an engagement party, which went really well. So don't you worry about that. I know you were worried about it, but we had a lot of fun. But I was in the middle of this engagement party. I got a message from Scotty, and I see that Baylor signed Andre Iguodala Jr., okay? So when I worked for the Sixers, he was affectionately known as Little Dre. This is back in 2007, 2008, 2009. And he was always around the organization. Andre Iguodala, always, like, I haven't talked to him in a while. I'm going to reach out to him and see if we can get him on here. But I used to work with him very closely with the Sixers. An amazing guy. He actually had a complicated relationship with the city of Philadelphia and the 76ers because there was so much pressure heaped on him to be the next Allen Iverson, right? The next AI. And the Sixers were actually better than they should have been because of him. The story was he wanted the max deal, and the Sixers were slow to give it to him, and eventually they did. But then, obviously, he got traded, and his career really took off in a much different direction. It evolved to more of a team guy as opposed to this rock star that he made the All-Star team in 2009, and he was looked like more of an individual performer. But he ends up at Golden State, and things really take off for him. And you said, Scotty, as we get back to the issue at hand, Andre Iguodala Jr., that this says what? Like, for his father to move him to go to school here.
Well,
I didn't even think about that, by the way.
Quickly, let me add one thing to your discussion of Andre Iguodala Sr.
Yeah.
He did go to Golden State and kind of evolved as a defensive first team player, but then he won a Finals MVP.
Yeah.
Like he is one of the best players in the last 2 decades, easily.
Yeah.
But what I said to you,
future Hall of Famer?
I think so.
Yeah.
Yeah, he won a Finals MVP. That's a huge deal. Yes.
Yeah.
Yes, he's a Hall of Famer. Yeah.
So did
4-time NBA champ.
So did Boris Diaw, though. I mean, is he going to the Hall of Fame?
Okay. But
I'm
let's
just saying.
Let's not act like those two players are in the same stratosphere. Okay. Like Andre Iguodala is a Hall of Famer. Yes.
Okay. All right.
In my opinion. Here's what I said when you walked in, and this was what I said to my father over the weekend when we were discussing this. My dad's also a big Baylor Bear. I said, regardless of how good, and we need to look if it's Iguodala Jr. or Iguodala the second, because I've seen it.
Oh, it could be second.
I've seen it spelled both ways, and I'm not sure which is correct.
Well, if he's the second, isn't he junior?
Dude, I think that's different. I think you pick. I don't know. We'll figure it out.
Yeah.
Well, that'll be our project.
Far be it for us to discourage or disparage the name. Yeah. Right? Okay.
I can't blaspheme the name of Andre Iguodala. That's a Finals MVP you're talking about there.
We got to stop. I can't keep doing the Stephen A. Smith thing. Anyway, what I said to you was, regardless of how good Iguodala the second turns out to be, whether he's great or he's a role player or whatever, his father, one, is known even in his basketball career as being one of the most intelligent basketball players, in the game. His dad is going to make sure he is at a school that can best prepare him for the NBA. Regardless of how good he is now or how good he becomes, I promise you his father is going to have an extra level of scrutiny standards for that head coach, wherever he went, to say, I need my son to go somewhere he can develop in his role, develop in his game, so he can go to the league. And he picked Scott Drew. Yeah. How much influence Iguodala had versus letting Iguodala Jr. pick? I'm sure there was some conversations, but I promise you, if Andre Iguodala thought his son was going to go somewhere that wasn't going to get him ready to play basketball in the NBA, he would have said, no. The other thing to this is, it's funny. Some people reacted on Twitter as if he's Baylor's only player, and he's going to be like 8th in the rotation to start. But the other thing I saw that was funny is some people are acting like this isn't a big. Oh, he's only a 3-star. It's just a name. I was like,
one service has him as a 4-star.
It's like no, dude. Like, he's a 6'5" rangy player that plays great defense. And what was I just telling you I want from Scott Drew? I want Taurean Prince Part 2. Mm-hmm. I want him to take these high school kids that are maybe developing a little bit later that he can take in 2 to 3 years and make into NBA players.
Yeah.
And if Iguodala, I think he'll get minutes right away, but I assume his role, if he were to stay at Baylor a year or two, would grow. And I think Andre Iguodala Sr. probably thinks that, which is why he picked Scott Drew.
Yeah.
Which, not to put any salt in the wound for our BYU friends, but that's exactly why I thought it was crazy Rob Wright wanted to leave. Because I think Baylor is a place. We saw it with Davion Mitchell Friday night.
Oh my God.
Baylor is a place that gets wings and guards ready to play in the league.
Yeah.
Yep.
And by the way, to our friends from Provo or around the country, BYU fans, because it's an amazing fan base. I do want to say, there were a lot of people in the comments, sharing their opinions, sometimes more aggressively than others.
I love it.
Which, by the way, we love. It's awesome. We appreciate the interaction. And, remember, this is sports banter. It's never personal. It's a lot of fun. And I was thinking, the Kevin Young thing, right? I know the future is bright, but the bottom line is, to sustain this like Scott Drew has, he hasn't done that yet. And so you can be excited and have a lot of anticipation, but Scott Drew's track record speaks for itself.
Yeah.
All those guys going to the NBA, and so does a guy like Andre Iguodala's son coming to play at Baylor. I'm not saying he's going to be a lottery pick, but
we don't know.
No, but it's a great place where he can develop into a professional basketball player. I also think that we didn't talk enough about, we were sort of had kid gloves on when we were talking about the BYU and the situation with all the recruits that they've gotten recently. I like how you take yourself off the screen so you can, so they'll just come at me. No.
I'll look right in the camera as you're talking.
No. But, and again, this is all sports, back and forth. But, we didn't even mention the money. A lot of people out there, all they're saying is BYU is getting these guys because of the money. I disagree with that. And I didn't say it's about the money because I don't believe it's totally about the money. But you sure could make a hasty argument, and it would be hasty because it wouldn't be well thought out, that it is because of the money. But I don't believe that. But boy, the way that some people were responding, you would have thought that we were talking about the NBA developmental. situation. You thought we were saying a lot worse.
Well, and I hope we're nuanced enough. We've said multiple times we would take the money if we were in Rob Wright's shoes. Like we would. I'm not better than that. You're not. Like we would. So that's good enough reason, honestly. Like I'm actually not bitter.
I saw one of those shorts. Here at Rogue Media, Scotty has a show on Sunday nights with Terrence Ganaway.
Yeah.
Which of course, some of us are partial to Baylor, big time, right?
Guilty.
So
look,
went to Baylor. Yeah. Okay. So let's understand who we're working with. But I love there was a short of you talking about there's a huge rivalry between Texas and Baylor, and would you take $2 million to cheer for Baylor or for Texas?
Yeah, and Ganaway's like, I wouldn't. And I'm like, I would. Yes. I can be. Look, this is what I think I said. I said, I can be bought. Like,
$2 million is a lot of money, dude.
Listen, my perspective on life has changed really dramatically this past year because of things I've been through. It's just sports.
Yeah.
Like, I am passionate about the Baylor Bears. I will root for the Baylor Bears till my last breath. But if you wrote me a check for $2 million, I will root for your team, and I will get on this show and talk about them with as much enthusiasm in a heartbeat.
Yeah.
I don't care. That's life-changing money that can set me and my daughter up for a long time. I'm good. Like,
see that? But back to the BYU thing. Look,
bear the truth.
What did he say?
He says, I'm there as well.
Oh, yeah.
Bear the Truth and I are both for sale.
Yeah.
We will come along your band.
And by the way, Bear the Truth is sitting on a puppy furniture empire over there.
That's right.
Right?
That's
so
right.
it's not like he needs the money. But that's just a window into what's going on. What's the name of his company?
Primetime Pets with a Z.
Primetime Pets with a Z.
They sponsor Please Bear With Me.
Oh, they do? That's what I'm talking about.
One day he's going to sponsor the Pete Sousa Show.
No, look, I'll take what I can get as long as he's a part of the family. But yeah, go ahead and check that out. PrimetimePets.com is the site, correct?
You nailed it.
Okay.
With a Z.
With a Z. So, and one other thing I wanted to mention, and this is I truly believe this. I believe all the things I'm saying, but this, when you look at the collection of work that Scott Drew has done with players, and the Davion Mitchell thing was a great example. He willed the Miami Heat to a win in a win-or-go-home situation.
Not just saying this because we've done it twice already. Stephen A. Smith sent 2 tweets in a row. Like, who is this kid? He's crazy. Like, yeah.
So that's just another one of the guys. What was it, 11 or 12?
Well, there are 11 active NBA players from Baylor.
Yeah.
3 of them from that national championship team. All the rest from other eras.
I had notes here yesterday, and I picked this up. It says, this is from Friday. You can't see it. It says,
here's what we did not say.
It says Pete sucks.
Here's what we did not say
So
Friday.
I got fans around here too.
Here's what we did not say Friday that we had talked about off camera.
Yeah.
That is the 6th most of any school in America.
Yeah, I got it right here. Can I do it? Kentucky, 31, right? Active NBA players. Duke, 26. UCLA, 14. Michigan, 13. Kansas, 12. And then Baylor and UNC with 11. So those are active players. So, look.
Yeah, ask any Joe around America, hey, who has more NBA players, North Carolina or Baylor? And they're going to go, oh, UNC. It's like, nope, they're the same.
I get that Rob talked a lot about learning from Chris Paul. And there's, look, I mean, learning from the guy who Chris Paul learned from. I get it. Chris Paul was a really, really good basketball player.
Hall of Famer.
Yeah, before Kevin Young came into his life. So just keep that in mind. All right, the Pete Sousa Show rolls on after this. Thank you guys so much for listening, getting in the comments. We love messing with people from different fan bases around here. I stay impartial. I sometimes can be a little loyal to Baylor because they gave me my start in this whole thing, calling games for play-by-play. Oh, one more thing I wanted to say about Andre Iguodala II or Jr. When I was calling a game out in Tucson, it was, I think, Arizona and maybe TCU, or I forget. I called a bunch of games out there. But I was out there for ESPN. Yeah, there you go. That crew was out there because he was taking a visit to his father's alma mater, right? So he went out there, and Arizona was on him hardcore. They really wanted him to go there, and he didn't. He went to Baylor. So just letting you know, something happening here in Central Texas. All right, we'll be back on the other side of the break. I got to tell you guys about this amazing experience I had over the weekend. I saw a game in an environment that was unlike any other I've ever seen a game in. That is a promise. We'll talk about it when I get back. We got the video to prove it. Pete Sousa Show presented by Slovacics. Also, don't forget about our buddies from Extra Co Banks. We'll be back after this.
Nobody tells our stories better than our clients.
The difference is stark. I was rear-ended at a stop. I thought I was fine, and then once I got home, I realized it's a lot worse than I thought. I ended up having a ruptured disc. You say you're not hurting, and then an hour later, you're saying you're in all this pain. I just felt like most people would think that I was lying. That's when I decided to call Daniel Stark. I owe a lot to Daniel Stark. They really got me what I deserved.
The difference is stark.
We definitely love our relationship and love Extraco. It's been an amazing experience.
They made the PPP process easier. They were reaching out to me saying, what can I do to help you? That made a huge difference because my stress level, when we shut down to afterwards, was night and day.
Our experience with Extraco has been phenomenal since the very beginning, so we love Extraco.
I don't know, if Bubble wasn't here, I don't know what people would be doing, like making PowerPoints or something. Bubble allows you to make it real and for it to actually work. So I feel like Bubble bridges that gap and being able to give people the opportunity to make their ideas come to life really quickly too. I love that I can sit down and build something the way that I think it should be built and have the control over it.
Bubble turns ideas into fully scalable apps. Try Bubble today.
Hi, I'm Jo from Face Theory. You're going to want to have a specific goal for your skincare routine. What do you want to achieve? Active ingredients are really strong, and if you're using too many at once, your skin can get overwhelmed. Don't overspend on products. Choose products that have scientific research behind them. At Face Theory, if you're not happy with a product, just say so, just give us a shout and we'll give you your money back, no problem.
I know you're gonna love this Kodak Dot Plus printer. You guys just connect it to your smartphone and then you're gonna use the Kodak Photo Print app. It's going to print you a 4x6 photo. I am just in awe. I love how these turned out. Also, the printer comes with a free cartridge of 10 photo sheets. I can assure you, you are going to love this printer as much as my family has. You guys have to check it out for yourself.
Streamline event and appointment booking with Amelia's sleek, modern, and fully customizable booking forms. Tailor the colors, fonts, and design to match your brand and seamlessly integrate with your WordPress website. Whether it's for events or appointments, Amelia makes booking simple, stylish, and perfectly aligned with your business. Enhance your booking experience today at WPAmelia.com. That's WPAMELIA.com. Amelia.
When you learn a language with Babbel, you start a journey that takes you further and further. Anytime and anywhere you wish. It's easy and fun. Broadens your horizons and keeps your brain fit. A journey into new thoughts, new cultures, new adventures. So what are you waiting for? Start your journey with Babbel now. Go to babbel.com or download the app.
BadCreditLoans.com is a pioneering service provider that has carved a reputation in the financial industry for its dedication to helping individuals with bad credit secure loans. By making timely repayments, borrowers can gradually repair their credit history, thereby increasing their chances of securing better loan terms in the future. BadCreditLoans.com serves as a beacon of hope for those with bad credit. Simple, fast, and reliable loan application process. And its commitment to responsible borrowing makes it a trusted partner in the journey towards financial stability.
All right, the Pete Sousa Show rolls on. Before we get to our my experience over the weekend at Cosm in Dallas, let's check this out. Scotty B, the Baylor King, has breaking news. Mustafa, his name, you say his name, TM, will transfer to Cincinnati. Yeah, here you go. Look at this guy. I was just about to say this. Yeah, he's 7'2", 10.5 points, 6.5 rebounds, and 2.6 blocks per game. I'll take it a step further. That's the only freshman in a Power 4 plus the Big East to average 10-plus points, 5-plus rebounds, and 2.5 blocks. He's going to Cincinnati. And that is a huge get for Cincinnati. So props to Wes Miller. Cool to see that he stays in the Big 12 because he's a young, bright superstar. He had, I think he had 6 or 8 blocks against Kansas State. So the dude is special.
Pete Sousa show correspondent. Scotty B.
Yo, Scotty B, by the way, I mean,
Wait,
can
Scotty
we...
B-
Wait, what do we do? Can we corroborate this? Like, we're just going off Scotty B.
I trust Scotty B.
I do too, but, let's get a second. You got to get two sources
He's
for
our insider.
before you run with this stuff. But we're hearing whispers.
Scotty B, we want to have you on the show.
Yeah, we do. But we're hearing whispers that Mustafa TM is going to Cincinnati. We will have to confirm. No offense, Scotty B. I just haven't seen it anywhere else. But your chat.
By the end of the show, we'll know.
Yeah, we'll know. We'll figure it out. All right, I want to get to something that happened over the weekend. It was special. So I had an engagement party. Got engaged in February. It was at Marty B's in Bartonville, which was awesome. My friends from Philly were in town, and they were like, what in the world is going on here in Texas? They were like, and these are guys who have like hung out in like, nice restaurants and bars for, a portion of their 20s and early 30s for sure. Now they're my age, mid 40s, maybe on the later side. And my brother, who's north of 50, I think. Yeah, Mike, he's 50. He is born in 72. He's 52 right now. Wow, he looks great. You're about to see him. So really awesome to have them up here. They were just shocked at how amazing Marty B's was, how huge it is. Everybody like dancing out there. There was a live band. We had this like little kind of area sectioned off. I got to show my picture of Kelvin Sampson, me and Scott Williams. I'm interviewing Kelvin Sampson. Scott Williams is next to me. Christy's behind me. It was like 10 minutes before I popped the question. It was after a Colorado-Houston game in Boulder. And I was so nervous. So I brought people. Christy had all these pictures of like her and I and pictures of us as kids at every table. And I was like, we got to bring the picture of Kelvin Sampson that I have. It's me. It's like a ridiculous picture. It's me, Kelvin. I'll share it at some point. And she's like, why? We're not bringing this picture. It's an engagement party. That's the dumbest thing I've ever heard. I'm like, Christy, it is part of our love story. And I was like, and by the way, that wasn't a request. The picture's going to be over there. So that was a lot of fun. There was and it was really cool to have my buddies from home. And to see them experience certain aspects of Texas. They were legit like, everything is bigger and better in Texas. I said, welcome to the party. You're very late. And they played, the Stars at Night are big and bright. They played it twice at Marty B's, and the whole friggin' crowd. There must have been thousands of people in that place. You know how that place is. It's crazy. So that was Friday night. Saturday, my brother and I are hanging out with Christy's son, and we're like, what can we do that's fun? We go to this place, Cosm, okay? It's in the Grandscapes. And yeah, it's amazing. We go to the Grandscapes, and it's basically like the Sphere in Las Vegas. It's not quite that experience, right? From what I hear, I've never been there. The Sphere is like all-encompassing. My brother Mike has been to both. But it's like you're sitting courtside at the game. Like you're literally, like you have a seat, and it's 180 degrees, I think the screen is. And the sound that's piped in is amazing. It feels like you're in the front row, right, of watching the game. And the cool thing about it is there's no broadcast feed, right? You are at the game. Like it's the at the game feed. And I believe, and I need to do more research on this, but the way that they do it is, like if you have the NBA ticket, right, there's certain like views you can experience, right? Like, baseline to baseline, or like, or should I say there's, you can do a wide view or like a tight view, like coaches would look at and think football, right? Tight, wide copy. You can do, and it's all courtside though. And so there's also like, you can people watch. And so the game starts and Mike, myself, Christy's son are there. We're taking this all in. And I'm like, yo, look, Mike, that's Peyton Manning. Like, it's like we're at the game, and like Peyton Manning is not on TV, but he's at the game, and he's in the second row. And I'm like, you feel like you're pointing out Peyton Manning courtside because nobody else knew yet, unless you're, quote unquote, air quotes, at the game. And I'm like, and then we start talking like you would at a basketball game. Like, it's that kind of experience. I'm like, we're like, well, why isn't Peyton Manning sitting courtside? Like, do you think, I was like, because he's got no ego. I'm like, he doesn't care. And then the more we looked, it was very clear, or at least this is maybe an assumption, but it looked like Peyton Manning was with, whether it would be his son or his nephew, like a younger guy that was right next to him. And then he had 3 other young kids. So he's got like 4 tickets, right? Or 5. So that's why he would be in the second row, because it's not him and his wife. It's him and 5 kids. And Peyton Manning, like, I would be watching the game, but then I would look and I would want to see what Peyton Manning was doing. It was crazy. It's like you're right there. And he was watching intently all game long. And my brother and I were so like, dude, Peyton Manning hasn't moved from his seat. And he's like locked in. You could tell he's just like a sports super fan, because when you're at the game, and if you're a Cosm, you feel like you're at the game. It's like you're there. So, Scotty, roll this clip. At the end, you'll see my brother. But this is a huge 3 at the end of the game. To be totally transparent, I bet on the Clippers. By the way, you want to talk about a good win, okay? They're down. I'm getting 2.5 with the Clippers. They're down by 5. And I think it wasn't Harden. Somebody hits a 3 at the buzzer, like a nothing 3 that cuts the lead to 2. And I win. So it was a great win. But here is the sequence before that when the Nuggets went up. I don't know if my brother was cheering for the Nuggets just to be a prick, but either way, check it out.
And here comes the screen, and watch Murray. And so they got it to him, and here they go.
This is
just tried and true Jokic Murray pick and roll. Here is Murray down 1 in game 1. 25 seconds. Westbrook a 3.
So that's the experience there. And it's funny because I put that on social media, and a lot of people reached out. And because people have seen these clips like this all over social media, right? And people have reached out and been like, what was it like? What was the experience like? It was amazing. So props to the folks at Cosm. The service was incredible. It was really cool to experience that. You know, Christy's son is not like the biggest sports fan in the world, but he was like talking about all the players. Like you feel like you're at the game. And not only do you feel like you're at the game, you feel like you have courtside seats and you don't have to deal with all the parking and some of the other stuff. There's nothing like going to a real game, right? It's like I would compare it to, we have Zoom AA meetings in today's day and age, and then we have in-person meetings. Like an in-person meeting is you're just connecting on a different level. But you go to Cosm, you can still connect with people right next to you, and you feel like you're at the game. Any thoughts on Cosm, Scott?
I have some questions because I've never been. I don't know how it works. Is it just one room, or are there multiple rooms?
Okay, so we were, as far as I can tell, there's a theater, right? Almost like there's one side that is open that you can have like several TVs are on.
Okay.
So that's a bar where you can hang out and watch games. I would think that's probably like jamming on a football Sunday,
Right.
or a college football Saturday.
Sure.
That was that part on Saturday afternoon to watch an NBA playoff game was basically dark. Like, so, but you saw this huge other like area. Then there's 3 levels, right? That you can.
I've seen that in the videos.
Yeah. So there's 3 levels. There's like one level that's like really low. That's like, I guess that's like the most expensive, right? Then there was the next level where we were, and then there was another level behind us where you can almost gather more people. It's more like a communal area. But it still like is an amazing, and I don't know how much those tickets cost. Ours were $80.
Yeah.
Which is expensive, but it was totally worth it.
So I guess my question was, and you answered it, was like because I agree with you. There's nothing like going to a game, but I think for me the appeal would be like, let's say, so next year's the World Cup.
Yeah.
Here in America. I've got a buddy who's trying to put together a package, so maybe I'll fly to Seattle or LA next summer to see the United States play.
Yeah.
I will probably go to Dallas or Houston just to see anybody play, but I'd really like to see the United States play. And I recognize that's going to be very expensive, and I need to start saving money like this month. But let's say I don't do that. I would think, man, if I can't fly to Seattle to see this game, I would pay to go sit and do that in Dallas.
Yeah.
And still get the experience because it's literally across the country.
And I'm telling you,
but
it's 1,000%.
If I lived in Dallas, I would not want to watch a Cowboys or a Mavs game there.
Yeah.
Like I'd rather watch with my friends or try to go.
Yeah.
Does that make sense?
Yeah, it does. It does make
but
sense.
It surprises me, and maybe they'll do this if they keep growing. I would think for like NBA playoffs or like the World Cup coming up next year, you'd want like 3 rooms like that.
Yes.
Like, pick your game.
And
Pay for your game.
There may be more.
Yeah.
I know this, though, and there may not be, because when we got done, there were a shitload of people waiting to pour in to watch WrestleMania. That was like the nighttime feature.
It's probably just one screen.
Yeah.
I mean, you've got to prove the concept, but like, that's really interesting.
It's really cool. So there's a couple threads just from working in sports that I found to be super interesting, right? A lot of times in the NBA, when I was working in the NBA, towards the end, like around 2010, when I was doing PR, you know, obviously we deal with all the beat writers. They were getting moved up to the second level because teams were just trying to monetize all the seats down low.
Sure.
And so writers were pissed, and, you know, crotchety old guys who are so used to eating free and getting great seats. And it does improve your quality of work, because if you are down on the court, you can hear what Jeff Van Gundy, an assistant on the Clippers, is yelling to Kawhi Leonard about that defensive possession. So, like, I would even say, and no sports writer's ever going to do this, but, like, you could pay $80 a night to go there if they were showing, like, every Mavericks game or Sixers game. Like, you could, and nowadays with, like, the way that NBA locker rooms are, you're not going to get anything in there anyways. So you could really do a game, like, from there. You could write a column.
It's a great idea.
Or a game story from there. I thought that was super cool. And I also thought, as a broadcaster, you know, when I watch those games, Ryan Ruocco is so cool. And they do pipe in, as you heard, the ESPN feed. And Ruocco is just, like, dynamic. And Bob Myers, who I thought did excellent, was calling the game with him. And Angel Gray was a sideline reporter. But I like to watch them, what they're doing, and I got to listen. If I'm at a game, I just see what they're doing, right? I see the stats guy next to Ruocco.
Right.
Like, there was a point in time where James Harden, this was cool. So this is behind the scenes here, inside baseball. James Harden had 4 fouls, right? Or 3 fouls really early in the game, like in the first half. And so Myers is like, I would have to imagine that James Harden may not have fouled out all year long. Like, and then you see the stats guy next to Ruocco. I love this stuff. Grabs the game notes and is ripping through them. Like, boom, 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 boom. And like 30 seconds later, he hits Ruocco with the card, and Ruocco's like, yeah, Bob, you're right. He hasn't ever fouled out this season. And I was like, that's just I love that stuff.
I love that.
Yeah, it's so fun to watch. So I like that. So it was a place where you can take all that in, which is terribly unique. You know?
That's cool.
Yeah,
That's good.
It was very cool. All right, we're going to take a break, come back, one last segment. Couple other things to cover, a little potpourri. We will be back, the Pete Sousa Show, presented by Slovakics. Oh, yeah, I want to talk about the Lakers. LeBron and Luka, my thoughts on the blowout that took place Saturday night against the Minnesota Timberwolves. We'll be right back.
Did you know nearly all stock price changes of 10% or more result from a single news headline? These news catalysts create trading opportunities every day. All you need is a little help to reach out and take them. It doesn't matter if your investment budget is small or big. All you need is Benzinga Pro and its powerful news alerts, price tracking, and portfolio monitoring. Subscribe now, and we'll skyrocket your portfolio today.
OsleyMD.com. I've always had thin hair my whole life. It breaks off at a certain length. In the last 6 months, I've noticed it just really bad. I mean, you could totally see it. I wear a hat a lot. I tried several different products. My experience with the Bosley MD hair regrowth kit was amazing. It was easy to use. It let me take off my hat. I could go in public and have my picture taken and feel normal again. OsleyMD.com.
Golf Partner, the world's largest golf store network, offers more purchasing opportunities than anywhere else. With a dominant market share and a wider selection of quality secondhand golf clubs than our competitors, we make it easy for you to enjoy the game with affordable, top-quality equipment. Join us at GolfPartnerUSA.com and discover why we're the trusted choice for golf lovers worldwide. That's GolfPartnerUSA.com. Golf Partner.
Since 2003, Bluehost has been empowering people to harness their brands online with innovative web hosting solutions. Trusted by over 2 million users, we're the longest-running WordPress.org recommended host. With Bluehost, you get a safer, better web experience, supported by the world's most popular site builder, and backed by our commitment to open source projects. Visit Bluehost.com today and take your website to the next level.
Experience the future of secure private cloud storage with Internix. Protect your files with end-to-end encryption, ensuring your data stays private and accessible only to you. Enjoy seamless, fast storage without compromising security. Visit Internix.com today and take control of your digital life. That's INTERNXT.com today.
Apollo Neuro is a new kind of wearable that helps your body recover from stress. It's like a wearable hug for your nervous system that helps you calm down and feel better. The Apollo wearable will send gentle vibrations to your body, like a song you can feel instead of hear. You feel better, you sleep better, and you can get back to being yourself. Learn more at apolloneuro.com.
Protect your online privacy with NordVPN. Browse securely, access content from anywhere, and keep your data safe with military-grade encryption. Whether at home or on the go, NordVPN ensures your digital freedom. Stay secure. Download NordVPN today at nordvpn.com. That's NORDVPN.com. Elevate your experience with Grenco Science, the leaders in cutting-edge vaporizers. Whether you're at home or on the go, our sleek, powerful devices deliver smooth, consistent hits every time. Quality you can trust, innovation you can feel. Grenco Science. Take your vapor game to the next level. Visit us at GrencoScience.com.
It all began with a simple idea, cutting handles off old ski sticks to create better pull-up bars. This sparked the creation of the revolutionary Engels 90 handles. After testing over 70 prototypes with 300 athletes, our patented handles were launched in 2018. We continue to push the boundaries of strength training. Join us in making your training more natural and effective. Visit Engels90.com to learn more and revolutionize your workout.
Okay, Pete Sousa Show continues. Of course, Slovacic's, Crawford Austin Properties, D1, Daniel Stark Injury Lawyers, and our good friends at Socorro Family Ford. That's who makes this possible for us. And we got a couple more in the bullpen possibly, so that'll be cool as we continue to grow this whole thing with you guys. One thing I want to talk about as the NBA playoffs. By the way, Bob Myers said this too when I was watching that game. The one I was just talking about between Denver and the Clippers. You know, it's a shame we talk like this, but it's true. Myers was like, I love the playoff effort. He's like, there's just a different effort during the playoffs, and it makes it so much more fun to watch. And Saturday night, it was not fun to watch the Lakers if you're a Laker fan. But I have good news. Like, don't panic, right? Scotty has it right up there. I mean, there you go. The king and the kid know the script. And Minnesota played great. And Minnesota is, I'm not saying they're not totally dangerous. But at the same time, the Lakers are very, very good. Okay? The supporting cast, I was listening to Russillo and Simmons this morning, and they talked about how the size was an issue for the Lakers and will continue to be an issue. I don't, on the other side of that, just looking at the box score, right, getting ready for this, Naz Reid and Jaden McDaniels combined for 55 points on 19 of 25 shooting. Okay, that's one thing you won't see again in this series. I promise. Here's another thing you probably won't see again in this series. The Timberwolves shot 21 from 42 from three. You don't lose a playoff game if you shoot that well from three. And that's not going to happen every night. It's certainly not going to happen tomorrow night. And it is a hot button topic, right? Like, we do stuff here, right? Look, man, if it's exciting to talk about, we're going to talk about it. A lot of these, like, people complain, like, why are they always talking about the Lakers? Why do they always talk about, this is not us. It's like First Take and that stuff. It's because these are super interesting topics. And I'm sorry they don't apply to some of the folks in markets around the country. But you got the best player of all time in LeBron James, and you've got Luka Doncic, like, yeah, like if they were playing somewhere else, we'd be talking about that team. Now, the Lakers are sexier because it's LA and because it's the history What do you got? You got some thoughts, Scotty? Push
Sorry,
back
sorry.
if you must.
My ears perked up. Did you? Because we've never talked about this, by the way. We've never talked about this. You think LeBron James is the best player ever?
I think Michael Jordan's the best player ever.
That's what I thought, but then you just said it.
I
and
do.
I was like,
So yeah, I was kind of. I'm trying to make my point over here. No, I think Michael Jordan is the best player.
Okay,
ever.
all right.
I never saw Michael Jordan ever get like a crucial moment or game taken from him. The one time I saw it was when he came back from retiring late in the season. He was wearing 45, and they played the Magic. And the Magic beat the Bulls, I think, in 6 games. And at the end of the game, Nick Anderson stole the ball from Michael Jordan and went coast to coast and dunked it and sort of either punctuated the win, solidified it, or it was like a huge moment in the game. But I just never saw that happen to Michael Jordan. And it was almost like it's either Superman 2 or 3 when he doesn't have his Superman strength and he gets his ass kicked in the diner by this jerk who bullies him. And then he goes back to being Superman and he goes back to the diner and beats the shit out of the guy. That's what the Bulls did the next year.
Season, right?
They swept the Magic in 4 games. I mean, it was, if you blinked, it was over. So I just never saw MJ get his heart ripped out in a crucial moment, ever. So that's
I didn't mean to take us all the way down the rabbit hole.
That's fine, but it's
as a younger millennial who does think LeBron's the GOAT.
Yeah,
I heard you say that, and I went, I bet he doesn't actually think that.
No, I don't, because I'm an older guy. All right, so the Lakers, though, I think they're going to be fine. I think they're going to win the series. I have complete faith in Luka Doncic. I have complete faith in, obviously, LeBron James. And I'll tell you what, I got a lot of faith in J.J. Redick. And I'll be interested to see how he wraps things up this season because the Lakers have been on a complete heater. And I just don't think it's fair to let one game dictate what the future has in store for us, especially when you're dealing like Luka. Remember now, Luka beat this team last year in the Western Conference Finals. Like, what are you laughing at?
I miss Luka.
Yeah, I bet you do. Yeah. By the way, Christy's family, they're diehard Mavs fans, diehard. And we put the Mavs game on at the engagement party, and these dudes are hardcore. They just kept walking by the TV going, defense wins championships. Like, it was like a 20-point game. Like, defense wins championships. They were.
Did you see the Nico meme that emerged out of that game?
Was it him? Was it somebody from a Disney movie?
No. It was a side eye. It was Anthony Davis limping out of the game.
Oh, I saw that.
And the producer, the director, whoever is a genius.
Goes right to Nico.
The next shot was Nico Harrison, and he's clearly trying not to look at the camera, but he just goes.
It's rough. It's tough times for him, dude. It's tough times for him.
He deserves it.
Do you think how bad are the Grizzlies going to get beat the next time they play? That was atrocious, dude. Did you see that game?
I did. Yeah. Here's what I'm really hoping for as we talk about the Lakers and LeBron and Luka. And I mentioned this to you earlier about last night's performance from Steph Curry. I need a Lakers-Warriors round 2 matchup. As a basketball fan, Zach Burks, Houston Rockets fan, just walked in, so he's obviously not going to be happy to hear that. But as a basketball fan who's, I made the whole segment about being a Lakers fan now.
Yeah.
I feel no loyalty to the Lakers. I'm just a floating around basketball fan now. As a fan of the game, I need the LeBron-Steph matchup again just because we don't know how – that might be the last time, right, in the playoffs. We don't know how long that's going to keep going. And now with Jimmy Butler and Luka added to that rivalry that kind of defined the 2010s, that would just be great TV. Like, I would watch every game of that series.
I would too.
I think that could be so electric. Not to write off your rocket, Zach, but let's just be honest. Like Zach
just gave the hand up. Like
Steph Curry
I'm
looked like
used
he was.
to it.
Steph Curry last night looked like he was 27 again, not 37.
Yeah.
Like so, that bodes well. But the Warriors, you talk about the Lakers being on a heater. The Warriors and the Lakers have been the 2 hottest teams in the West.
The Warriors are
since the All-Star break.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, they've been unbelievable. And so have the Clippers, by the way. The Clippers lost game 1, but some of the stats those guys were mentioning when I was at that game on Saturday, just like how well that, like, I think it was rebounding. Like since a certain moment in time, like the last 20 games, the Clippers have led the league in defensive rebounds. Like there's a bunch of those stats that show how well they've played down the stretch. Zubats is awesome, dude.
Yeah, he is.
Holy mackerel.
Here's
like
why
that was another thing at that vantage point. He's constantly like keeping balls alive, and that stuff
see
you don't
all
see.
that up
Yeah,
close.
yeah. Good.
Here's why I don't believe in the Clippers, and it's why I do believe in the Lakers and the Warriors. I think when players tell you over time who they are, you just have to believe them. James Harden is going to crumble. Sorry.
That's what I
He's
believe.
going
that.
to.
Yeah.
He's going to crumble. That's who he is. Like he's shown you over and over and over and over. Meanwhile, Luka has shown you, and again, even in that loss, the dude has another
37.
gear in the playoffs. 38.
38. Okay.
No, yeah, 38 points. He has another gear. He's the second all-time playoff points per game behind Michael Jordan.
Really?
Like, Luka is. Yes.
Yeah.
Like he has another gear in the playoffs. LeBron, I know there's some criticism because of his finals record, usually turns it up in the playoffs and plays very well.
Yeah.
Most of the time. Steph, Jimmy Butler, turn it up in the playoffs. Like those are stars who've proven they elevate.
Yeah.
Harden crumbles. If Kawhi's healthy, like I believe in Kawhi.
Yeah.
But James Harden, I'm just that's not going to bode well for Clippers fans.
I like when you said that Luka stat.
Points per game in the playoffs, he's number 2 all time.
Oh, really? I want to give you like a mad dog for that. Oh, really? I didn't know that.
And
yeah,
he has been for a couple years now.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I should have known that.
Like he's maintained. Yeah.
All right, Pete Sousa Show wrapping up. We've just hit 11 o'clock. Go watch the Cam Show. Really, watch it now. The guy is as entertaining as it gets, and he's got to be pissed off about something today, because I know I will be pissed that the Patriots are going to take a left tackle that everybody is saying, like in last year's draft, would have gone in the second round. That would freak me out. But the Patriots, I guess, really need a tackle. So we'll see. Maybe Cam will talk about that. We're going to have Cam on the show here this week at some point. Matt Mosley tomorrow. And then we got a really interesting interview coming up on Tuesday or Wednesday. Mitt Winter, who is a sports law attorney. Follow him on Twitter if you haven't already. He is really covering the hell out of what's going on in college sports. A lot of big-time college coaches and analysts lean on him for information as to how this is all. You hear about the House settlement, but, like, what the hell is happening with that? He's going to break that down for us and kind of get us educated on that. And then Paul Biancardi is going to talk to us later in the week, ESPN analyst, about all these players we're talking about that are, the AJ DeBonsta, right? Like, what kind of player is he? How is he going to have an impact at BYU? He'll talk to us about guys like Andre Iguodala II or Jr. We're going to find out by tomorrow whether he's either or.
We need to ask him about Tunde.
Yes, we'll ask him about Tunde as well and how he took over the Hoop Summit. All right, we'll see you guys tomorrow.
It's the Pete Sousa Show. Sports.
We definitely love our relationship and love Extraco. It's been an amazing experience.
They made the PPP process easier. They were reaching out to me saying, what can I do to help you? That made a huge difference, because my stress level, when we shut down, to afterwards was night and day.
Our experience with Extraco has been phenomenal since the very beginning, so we love Extraco.
Nobody tells our stories better than our clients.
The difference is stark. I was rear-ended at 70 miles an hour. I was injured, had a concussion. The insurance company, they delayed. They were playing games from the initial conversation. They weren't going to help me. The biggest thing I learned through this is that you can't go through this alone. I called Daniel Stark. They were going to help me, and everything was going to be all right. Daniel Stark got me 10 times the insurance company offered.
The difference is stark.
We are Rogue Media Sports.